All right. Mr. Festus Okoye, can you respond to this?
For the commission, we have consulted. We cannot remain on the issue of guidelines ad infinitum. We've consulted the political parties, the critical stakeholder, I agree. We've consulted the security agencies, the critical stakeholder. We have consulted civil society groups and organizations, the critical stakeholder. We have consulted the media, the critical stakeholder. All these critical stakeholders have given us their input. They have made suggestions on the best way they believe the country can have a good election.
Mr. Okoye, one second, Mr. Okoye. You have consulted. When you say you consult with them, is it that they bring their suggestions to you and you take them, or they bring their suggestions and you still do what you want to do as a commission?
Oh, good. Beautiful.
Let me give you an example. We consulted the political parties. We consulted all these critical stakeholders. One, some of them insisted that the issue relating to the power of INEC to create voting point settlements at this point in time should not be in the guidelines, and we have expunged from the guidelines. I thought that is consultation, and we have taken that one on board. Some of the political parties insisted that what they want will be people should come to the polling units, do accreditation, and go home, and then come back maybe at 12 noon or at 2 p.m. and then vote. Some other people, some other stakeholders said, no, don't engage in policy inconsistency and somersault. Remain with the one you used in conducting Osun elections, Ekiti elections, and in conducting almost 159 off-season elections, so that the Nigerian people do not get confused relating to it. We have looked at it, and we said, look, we will remain with the issue of continuous accreditation and voting, based on the fact that we are going to use the permanent voters' cards, and we have some mechanisms and procedures that will address some of the concerns they raise. The political parties have the discretion, they have the right to deploy pool agents or party agents to every polling unit. And at each point in time, they will be part of this particular process. If we have 91 political parties and 73 are contesting the presidential elections, the implication is that if they do what they are supposed to do, we are going to have 73 party agents at the polling units. Are they saying that 73 party agents cannot protect the sanctity of the vote and see what is going on at the polling unit? Unless there's something else they are saying that we don't understand. This particular procedure has served us, and it will serve us well if we go with it. And our people will not, nursing mothers, persons with disability, the aged people will not come and then accredit and go home, and then we stress them again into coming to come and vote. I think that this procedure will serve the Nigerian people, and the Independent National Electoral Commission will remain with this procedure for the 2019 elections. We cannot be going forward and backwards when we have less than 40 days to the general elections. We cannot consult ad infinitum. By Monday, we will release the final guidelines and regulations for the conduct of these elections, because we have to train presiding officers using the guidelines. We have to train collation officers using the guidelines. The political parties also need the guidelines in order to train their party agents. So I think that it is time for us to release. We have consulted, and we consulted widely, and we consulted well.
Well, Chief Gostin Okoye, did you miss any part of that consultation?
Well,
is it tenable?
You have heard him. When you listen to him, what do you hear? That's the language of a tyrant. That's the language of a despot. We cannot, we should not, and he's a public servant. He serves the public. And you can hear the disdain for political parties. For goodness sake, why don't you amend the constitution and do independent candidates so that it can appeal to people and conduct elections for everybody without political parties? And then ask the other critical groups to field candidates.
Chief Okoye, hold on.
NGOs, let them field candidates.
You did not answer the question, Chief Okoye. Did you miss out any of the consultation?
Do this? For goodness sake, the consultation we are talking about is a farce. Just like you asked him, is it that you're consulting so that you can factor their opinion, or you're just asking them, just let it be that you consulted them? For goodness sake, that's not consultation. Consultation is a give and take situation. You consider, well, we're not idiots. For goodness sake, why would somebody, a public servant, telling us you cannot? In this day and age? In a democracy? Oh, I just sympathize with the chairman of INEC.
Chief Godson,
he's surrounded by
Chief
people
Godson Okoye,
that will destroy his image.
Chief Godson, if I may just come in here again, because we want to understand moving forward and how this is going to work out for the parties and for INEC as well. In your view, what must be done, because you just have a window of about 3.5 days, if you will, to try before Monday, when they will come out with the final recommendations and to carry through the process. What, in your view, must be done now to ensure that you, for instance, are happy with it, and that everyone else in other parties are happy with it?
Okay. Very simply, this is not rocket science. At the end of accreditation, which is provided by law and the guidelines, you should be able to determine that as at 12 noon or as at 1 p.m., when accreditation stopped, 200 people have been accredited to vote in this police station, or 300 people have been accredited to vote. But when you don't have that, it gives room for manipulation. You cannot, at the end of voting, determine how many people that were accredited. It creates room for confusion. And with the smart card that they brought in, which they have said is an improved system on the manual register, accreditation becomes easier. So if you start accreditation by 8 o'clock, by about 11, 12, it should have been done. And we also raised the issue of time. Why do you have to close voting by 2 o'clock? Why not 3 o'clock? Why not 4 o'clock? With the electronic things, gadgets we have deployed, voting should at least end by 3 or 4. And then within by 6 o'clock, the result should have been known. So there are a whole lot of things, my brother, in this document that if you do not amend them or correct them, but like he is saying, they are fixed, they have stonewalled, and they keep stonewalling, that they are not going to bend to anything. Beautiful. But in the end, it is Nigeria that will lose. Because, like we have said, attitude of Nigeria is the greatest problem to our development in every facet, both electorally or economic development. We have had the INEC chairman say, oh, I'm going to surpass Jega's record. Of what use is that? How does that help the process? Why don't you finish and let the people judge that and record you that you have made an improvement over and above Jega? Once you start setting this, then you are going to make mistakes that will mar the process. What we're interested in is the integrity of this process. Therefore, the position of my party is that there should be accreditation. There should be a gap between accreditation and commencement of voting. And at the closure of accreditation, we should be able to say 250 people, 350 people, 450 or 500 people have been accredited to vote here. And you issue certificate of accreditation. Everybody should know the number of people that have been accredited to vote.
All right.
But
if you do accreditation and vote, you will not be able to determine that number, which is critical.
Okay. Let me take a look at it.
I would like to add something.
All right, go ahead.
I would like to add something. The National Commissioner did mention that the 91 agents, and that is true. But the presiding officer has the overriding powers. He can walk them out. He can even order security agents to move them out. And these presiding officers are the appointees. They are the people that appoint them. So on the day of the election, the presiding of the party agents may have no powers. He might use security agencies to walk them out. And we don't have a control. In fact, it's one of the issues in terms of, in a very transparent manner, in a very robust, transparent manner, how the ad hoc staff, all the people that will serve as ad hoc staff that will be engaged for this election, it has to be done in a very open, transparent way. So there are a whole lot of concerns that we cannot just, for the mere fact that they say they have tried it in 6 states, that it worked, we cannot take it.